two things. I've always been a fan of medieval and Halloween things, and I'm in the mood for a tedious craft. Okay, so you may be wondering, how do we mix medieval and Halloween? And you've probably already seen the thumbnail, so maybe you know, but I'm talking about tapestries. I have always wanted a really cool, big tapestry, and maybe I will have one day, but for now, we're gonna make a slightly smaller scale Halloween themed tapestry. So once I had the idea in mind, I went to Pinterest and I found some of these inspiration pictures, and I think they're really cute, and I want to take some of the inspiration, but I want it to be a very Halloween-y color scheme, and I want it to have all these little bits of Halloween in it. So I designed what I had in my brain into Procreate and drew up this, what I think is a masterpiece. It's really cute and I'm really happy with it. I fiddled around with the colors for so long, and then I realized that the colors are going to be limited to the embroidery thread that I can find anyways. I will now apologize for what past me was like when I started this project. You'll see her in a minute. She's very tired, but she's really excited. So give her some grace, and you'll see me again in a minute. It's a little bit early in the morning for me to be starting a project, but I'm just so excited. So I figured I'd at least get all my materials out and sorted. Hopefully future me has done a good intro for you, because current me doesn't know what I'm doing yet, but I know the materials that I need more or less. This is my giant textile bucket, and basically I have this old embroidery canvasy fabric. I don't know if it's actually meant for embroidery, but it's very similar to the fabric that comes in those little embroidery kits. This piece is plenty big. I think it's the perfect width. I might take some of the height off because it's pretty tall. And then I just have a bunch of embroidery floss. I have this bag that's a bunch that's left over from past kits and such. And then this that has just been sitting in me and my mom's craft stash for years and years and years. I actually think this might have been from before I was born. Who knows? But that's all that I need to gather out of here, at least. I have a couple more embroidery threads that I got from the store. Let me pack this back up and I'll show you. I'm so sorry for my sick voiceover voice and for the scuffed beginning of this video. This was no better. My mic was off this entire time, but I was essentially just ironing the fabric before I started, and then I decided to film while I was moving the tripod instead of what I actually was trying to film. But I was just cutting the piece to size and marking out where I wanted the border and things like that. It was pretty simple setup. I just did a really bad job filming it. I also forgot to turn my mic on here, but I was essentially just painting a background for this so that none of the white canvas showed through, and I just used some watered down acrylic paint. Are you beginning to see the vision? The goal was that no white shows through the embroidery. I think that's been accomplished. Okay folks, you are now caught up with current me, and let me show you my progress yesterday. I did this much in 2 hours. That's a little disheartening. It's not. It's fine. It's a good start. It's a good start. For 2 hours? Yeah, that's fine. I did do a sort of braid stitch for the outline of the house and the windows, and that took a little longer than just the satin stitches. So I'm thinking I will probably save any fancy stitching for later. Right now I really just want to get some color blocked in. I think I want to finish filling in the house, and then we'll move on to like some bigger sections just to see some progress, you know? Last stint was only an hour, and I fully filled in the haunted house and started on the fence gate, but it looks good and I love it. I love that I switched up the direction of some of them. It just makes it look like an actual creepy wooden haunted house, you know? I do need to go to the store and get some more thread though.
Strums of the warm acoustic guitar blend with the gentle sound of the waves crashing against the shore.
I decided to get a frame because I was having trouble dealing with the fabric and keeping the little threads that were fraying off of the fabric to stay out of my needlework and blah 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 blah. Anyways, I just wanted a frame, and also so that I created less of those like indents, the circle indents on the fabric, you know what I mean. So I got that. I also got some thread holders so I can wrap the thread after it's out of the little plastic tubes, and then some needles. Anyways, then we have the thread haul. Did I go overboard? We'll never know, but I am really happy with the selection. I grabbed a bunch of blues, some light grays, dark grays. I got 4 more blacks because I know the entire border is gonna need to get filled in with black. I got some more oranges, some more greens, and then I also got some browns and some like magentas. I should probably whip this out and get my piece onto here so we can see what we're working with. Incredible. I am so excited for today's side quest. I'm at an old private school. I saw this on Facebook Marketplace. It's an estate sale, but it's an old private school, and I'm so excited. I am just excited to walk around this school. Based on the pictures, I think there's a lot of history here, and I think it's going to be a fun kind of memory lane, even though I never went to private school, I went to public school, but just being back in a school, and especially an old school like this, I just am excited to see what charm it holds. And also, I'm most excited for their theater department. So I'm gonna take you with me. Let's go have some fun looking around. There were quite a few people there while I was there, so I was trying to be pretty subtle with my filming, but I loved going through this place. It was so magical to be back in an elementary school. It's an elementary middle school. It was built in the 1950s. It just brought back so many memories. There were so many smells and things that I used as a kid that just brought back so many memories, and it was very nostalgic. I believe they were in the middle of a medieval unit or something like that, and so the school was filled with medieval things, and I was loving it. This whole box was full of medieval books, and I was obsessed with this whole experience. I didn't end up getting that much. I kind of showed a lot of restraint, but I did get a bunch of books, a couple pairs of scissors, and a cool jester pillow. I had the time of my life. It's been a minute since I actually checked in with you about the tapestry and how it's going. And the reason for that is because for the big spaces, like the grass and the sky, I just needed to laser focus, just lock in. Also the tree. The tree took a long time. So did everything else. I haven't really been timing everything, but I know that the tree took me a whole day and that the sky took me 7 hours, roughly. I did not time the grass. I wasn't about that. But this is where we're at. Hopefully you can sort of see it. That's the progress. The big spaces are filled in. And that's the important part at the moment for me. That was the big, you gotta check this off the list thing. It's coming along, you guys. This is really satisfying to see come together. It's taking a long time, but it's fully worth it. So now I just have to keep going, I guess. I think the biggest thing I need to do is block in the rest of the shapes. There's a lot of little details here and there that I want to do, but I just need to block in the rest of it so we don't see any of the paint underneath. Also, I'm sorry, I'm running out of ways to show you me embroidering. I'm trying to be creative with it. I don't know what else to do. Okay, as we begin the next phase of this, we're just gonna chat for a second. I am so happy with how everything's coming along. It's actually so fun. I say that laughingly because I was kind of surprised. Not that I'm having fun, because I think I knew that I was going to enjoy the process. And like I said, I wanted something tedious. But I'm surprised at how little I've gotten tired of it. And while there have been moments where I've kind of slowed down, overall, it's been pretty good. This frame was a lifesaver. I could not have done all of these big spaces with just this little circle hoop. I would have gone insane, constantly unscrewing and screwing and unscrewing and screwing. It was really incredible to have this to work on big spaces all at once. I really did not estimate well the amount of thread that I would need for certain things. I wish that I had planned it out a little bit more before I went and got a bunch of thread. Because what ended up happening is when I went to do big spaces like the grass, I didn't have a lot of one color. And so I'm going to be left with lots of embroidery thread. I do have a story time for you though. During movie night with my family, I was embroidering in an armchair and I was in between colors of thread. So I just had my empty needle and I stuck it in the armrest of my chair while I grabbed a little snack and a drink. Forgot that it was there. I was distracted by something else, and then something funny in the movie happened, and I was laughing so hard that I slapped my hand down on the armrest, and it was awful. The needle did not go further into the armrest, it went into my hand, and it didn't bleed like I felt like it should have. It just immediately swelled up. It felt like I had a marble stuck inside my bones. It was right here. You can kind of see the bruise. It's stuck in right there, kind of in between these two fingers. And it's bruised on both sides. You kind of can't see in this lighting right now, but it was ridiculous. It hurt like crazy. So anyways, that's my story time. Crafting is dangerous, kids. Don't leave your needles in places that they could get lodged into your hands. This is basically the next step, is outlining the main features. I don't want to outline everything because one, that would take way too long, and two, I just don't think everything needs it. But there's a lot of things that I left space around that do need to be outlined, and I also just think it'll add some cool variation. I hope you know that this is, again, not a tutorial. I'm not trying to teach you how to do anything. In fact, I'm barely teaching myself how to do anything. I'm just using the embroidery stitches that I already know. They're tried, they're true, they're fine. There's how that's gonna look. Just a little subtle outline around. My self-imposed timeline is very much running out on this project, and because of that, I have decided to change up my plan for the border of this. I think I'm going to make the borders smaller in all the directions so that they're not quite as wide around the edges. And then I do think I'm going to sew a couple pumpkins around the edges, but they'll mostly just be in the four corners, and do little vines on the outside. That's the hope, that's the goal. No time like the present, I suppose. as you've been hearing in all of the voiceovers, I'm quite sick right now, and that definitely affected the end of this project. As you can see, no little pumpkins in the outsides, the border's much smaller, and there's a lot of details that I didn't end up putting in, unfortunately. I was gonna do a lot more orange autumn leaves and little pops of color just to give it more dimension. And I really do still want to do some of those things. I especially still want to do the pumpkins in the corners because that was one of the things I was most excited for. I ended up just finishing it with this gold rope border, sewed that on with some gold thread, and then folded over all the sides, added a little wooden dowel that I cut some notches into and stained, and then a little string. I did end up with a copious amount of thread, especially the black. I think I have like 3 or 4 4 fully unopened blacks. So all of that extra black that I got, useless. Pretty much useless. But here we are. I love this, and I think that it's given me a lot of hope and enjoyment for future embroidery projects. I had a lot of fun with it, and I didn't really get sick of it, and it was really nice. I ended up putting a very thin layer of Mod Podge over certain areas because I didn't want them to keep snagging. There were a couple spots that did keep snagging, a lot of the big long stitches. So jury is still out on whether I'm happy I did that or not. It kind of made some patchy spots and it's now a little bit crispy, but if it's gonna last longer with that, I'm happy about it. I did realize that I keep forgetting to introduce myself, so hey, my name is Emery Kent. I create things and I have a lot of fun doing it. I think when it comes to creation, you only need 2 things, passion and an idea. And if you have those 2 things, you can do anything. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'd love if you'd leave a like or a comment or subscribe even if you want to keep up to date on the things that I create. I sew a lot. Embroidery was a new thing for me, but I quite enjoyed it, so I might make a return. And I do a lot of other random things as well. If you want to see my Halloween costume for this year, head over to my Instagram. That'll be posted on there. And I just love you. I'm still filming and editing on my phone, so if you are scared to subscribe because the quality of the video might maintain the same, don't worry. I'm working on getting a better setup in the future. But for now, this is what we got. All that said, it's time for you to see up close and personal the final details. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye.
Soft strums of the warm acoustic guitar blend with the gentle sound of the waves crashing against the shore. A serene melody weaves through the breeze, creating a soothing rhythm that mirrors the ocean's ebb and flow.
And maybe I want. Don't worry about that. It's none of your business, okay? This looks awful. Okay, y'all, we're back with the haul. I hate that rhymed. My thread through. Easier. Wow. Okay.